Thank you for joining us today on What's Up Prince William. Today we have Janeka Jones and Ray Woodrick. Thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you
very much for joining us. And tell me a little bit about your organization and what the program that you have coming up.
Yes, I'm a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. I'm a member of the Phi Kappa Zeta Chapter of Woodbridge, Virginia.
Myself, I'm with the brother fraternity organization for Zeta Phi Beta, which is Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Omicron Zeta Sigma Chapter here in Prince William County.
So you have an event coming up at the Boys and Girls Club. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yes, on 29 April, on a Saturday, we're going to be doing a 2-hour CPR awareness and training event. It started off that we wanted to do it specifically for the Girls and Boys Club, Hylton Branch Boys and Girls Club, but now we want to open it up to all family members. Anyone that wants to come out and be trained, we want them all to come out and attend.
So are you looking just for any individuals? You're looking for groups of people, businesses? Can anybody come to this event?
Yes, we want everyone to come out and be trained.
And you guys just recently did some training at the Boys and Girls Club. What kind of training was that?
Yes, that was hands-only CPR training.
And that was with who? Was that with your group? Are those the Train the Trainers, or?
Yes, it was called Train the Trainer, and it was led by the American Heart Association rep. His name was John Tutt. He came out, and I believe we had about 30 to 40 participants that came and learned how to do the hands-only CPR training.
And so this hands-on CPR training is a little bit different than, say, your traditional CPR. Why is this type of training good for the community?
It's good for the community because statistically about 3% of all Americans do not know how to perform CPR. So hands-only, there's hands-only and then there's mouth-to-mouth, but we want to teach the hands-only because in any amount of CPR is helpful. And so that's why we want to go out and we want to train the youngest of children to understand, don't be afraid of this, but if you know what you're doing, you can help save a life.
So families can come with their kids, and everybody's welcome to come to this one.
Yes, sir.
Excellent.
Everyone's welcome.
Okay. How is your involvement with your fraternity? How does that work with this program?
Well, we basically work in tandem with our sorority here. We provide additional support. The joke is, we provide the heavy lifting for them at times and everything like that. But no, we collaborate together. We voice our opinions so that way everything can run smoothly. When my soror here first came to me about it, I was excited about it. And over time, I started to pick up more and more about it. And even myself started to get excited about it. I kind of hope that moving forward after the 29th, it becomes an annual thing to keep pushing the agenda of learning CPR. Little fun fact about myself. My senior year in high school, I actually accidentally learned how to get CPR trained. I was working somewhere and they was like, "Hey, Ray, you want to learn how to do it?" I was like, "Why not?" I didn't understand the merit of it at first until years down the road. But unfortunately, I was not certified anymore. But I still understand the purpose.
So you understand the importance of it.
Correct.
And it's great that you have a couple organizations. You're a fraternity and sorority and the Boys and Girls Club coming together to make it a bigger event for the community, and we really, really do appreciate your efforts.
I wanted someone that had actually performed CPR, and then I found out through the American Heart Association rep, John Tutt, that this was more personal. And so that's how I started out by just wanting to do a community service event, but now it did become more personal to me once I heard about Gwyneth Griffin. Once I heard about her, this event it turned around for me.
Good morning, my name is Joel Griffin. I'm the chairman of Gwyneth's Gift Foundation, a locally based nonprofit. Our focus is on providing CPR awareness to the community. Our objective is to change lives and create a culture of action. For us, it's important to note that CPR is something that can be done by any individual. It does not require a certification, although CPR certifications are often available to individuals. But CPR training is something that anyone can perform. CPR is available to individuals that from adolescent to adult and can be used to save a life. And ultimately, that's what our foundation is about.
And how did your foundation get started?
So when our oldest daughter passed away, Gwyneth, she collapsed at her school and unfortunately did not receive CPR in a timely manner. And because of that, we want to make sure that other families don't have a similar situation. It's important that while we can't create while we can't create a situation where every child will survive or every individual will survive a sudden cardiac arrest, what we can do is we can ensure that every family knows that everything possible was done to save that individual and give that person who collapsed the opportunity for a full recovery.
So with your foundation, you're working with different groups. How well does that work for the community? Do you feel there's a benefit to get many people involved, or is it something that individual training, or is this especially with this new type of CPR that the American Heart Foundation is putting out there? How do you think that's going to affect the community as far as with the school systems?
So Gwyneth's Gift has 3 programs. The first is scholarships for students within Stafford County. The second is AED grants, providing AED devices to organizations, schools, community-based organizations, so that we can make sure that those devices are located within the areas where you're going to have a lot of people. But the third program, and this is really where it ties in with the Boys and Girls Club and the efforts of Janeka, is the awareness piece. CPR can be performed by anyone with as much, as long as they're 90 pounds or more, they can perform CPR. And in our particular situation, the day that Gwyneth collapsed, it was the students that went to find me, that went to get the AED, that called 911. So students are not as inhibited as many adults. They really want to be involved. They want to try to help, and we want to encourage that. The Boys and Girls Club is a great organization that's trying to, promote opportunities for kids. And opportunities are not just about academics and athletics. Opportunities exist about, do they have the right peers around them? Do they have, role models and examples? The sorority and the fraternity being available to exemplify, there are opportunities for you. And we just want to encourage that. We want students to understand that they can make a difference. Age is not a factor, that you can save a life. As long as you have the basic knowledge and understanding, you can make a difference in someone's life, whether that's your friend at school, whether that's your family member at your home, or whether that's someone in your church or athletic events. It's important that students feel like they have the knowledge to be successful. We oftentimes think of knowledge as something that you learn in school, but it's just as important that children have life knowledge as well. And this is something that they would take with them for the remainder of their life. As a matter of fact, one of the first things that Jennifer and I did when we were working to change the culture of Virginia was to get Gwyneth's Law enacted. Gwyneth's Law, one of the components is that in this graduating school year, 2016-17 school year, every graduating senior will have the CPR training. So that's 70,000 people, young individuals who are going to be in our communities that have that knowledge and training. But we feel like if we can start with kids earlier than that, and they can have something that's taught to them repeatedly in community-based organizations like Boys and Girls Club, but also in the schools, then that's something that, again, that's a life skill that they'll carry with them.
That's good. Well, I think it's just an amazing thing what you're doing with your foundation to make sure that the school systems, the teachers, and the kids are getting trained. I think it really makes a huge impact on any community that this program is applied to. And thank you for coming on and actually talking about your story.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on What's Up, Prince William.